Hi, I'm Nadia Nogueira. I'm here with Deborah Danis. She's the director for the Toronto North-Barrie Tax Service Office, and today we'll be talking about taxes for the newcomers. Hi Deborah, thank you for being here with us.
It's a pleasure, Nadia. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, many of our viewers are newcomers to Canada and first-time filers. What do they need to know when preparing to file their tax return?
Well, my first advice always is to file on time and net file if you can, because that's the quickest way to get any expected refund and take advantage of any benefits and credits. For newcomers, the first thing you'll need is a social insurance number, or it's commonly known as a SIN, because you'll need it in order to file and in order to net file. And individuals this year have to file by April 30th, and the one exception is if a taxpayer or their spouse or partner is reporting business income, and then they can file by June 15th. But they do need to pay all taxes outstanding before April 30th. And then lastly, there's lots and lots of support in the community for people who need assistance in preparing their returns. We have a community volunteer income tax program, and your viewers can find information on that through our general inquiries or on our website.
In your opinion, what should newcomers know about the Canadian tax system?
Well, firstly, it's pretty easy to access and it's very easy to file a return. I mentioned earlier our community volunteer income tax program, and it's prepared about 500,000 returns over the last 40 years. And qualifying individuals, which include newcomers to Canada, students, seniors, can access these services, and they will help the newcomer prepare their return electronically and net file it. And a full list of the locations are actually on our website.
And if there's anything else they need to have at hand before filing?
Well, they need their certified software, as I said, and all their information. And if they're going to avail themselves of many of the benefits and credits, it's important for them to remember that their spouse will also have to file a tax return. So good time to let your spouse know that they need to file too. And if you're a newcomer to Canada, you may need to report your world income for purposes of the benefit or credit, even if you're not living here for the full year. So you're not taxable on your world income if you've only been here part of a year, but for the benefits and credits, we need to know about your annual world income.
Some newcomers remain unemployed for some time after they arrive to Canada, while others decide to go back to college or university. Do they still need to file their taxes?
Well, I always tell all Canadians, including new immigrants, it's really important to file even if you have no income to report. And that's because you can avail yourself of benefits and credits. So an example might be a student who hasn't been working, but they can file and claim their tuition expenses, their education tax credit, and their books and text tax credit. And the important thing here is for the credits, they can carry them forward to future years when they might be making some income and they can offset it, or they can actually take $5,000 of those credits and they can transfer them to a spouse, a parent, or a grandparent who does have income against which they can be offset. So you can see it's really valuable to file.
And what types of credits and benefits a newcomer can claim?
Well, there's a broad range of benefits and credits, and I'll just give you an idea about some of them. So there's the Universal Child Care Benefit, there's the Canadian Child Tax Benefit, there's the quarterly GST HST tax credit, and there's the Ontario Trillium tax credits, which include a property tax credit. So many of your viewers would be eligible for all of these.
Can you give us an example of those taxes, those benefits? Like, do they need to keep a receipt from their kids that are going to play hockey after school? How can they do that?
Well, for the child care benefit, of course, you need to keep receipts for your child care. For the fitness tax credit, which you've just mentioned, and there's also a children's art tax credit, you need to keep receipts for the eligible expenses. And this year, the fitness tax credit has actually been increased to $1,000 of eligible expenses per child. So it's really important to keep those receipts.
From your experience, what kind of mistakes do you see newcomers making when they're filing the taxes return?
Well, the first mistake is they don't file. So it's really important, whether you have income or whether you don't, to file to take advantage of all those benefits and tax credits that I told you about. The second thing that newcomers sometimes don't remember is that their spouse needs to also file if they're claiming benefits and credits. So another important point. And lastly, as I mentioned previously, they really need to make sure that they're giving us an update on their world income, even if they've only been here for part of the year, again to maximize those benefits and credits.
So moving can be very expensive things to do, especially from one country to another. Can a newcomer deduct the cost of moving to Canada?
Well, I know it's very expensive, but unfortunately no. Moving expenses to Canada are usually not deductible. The only exception is where a student is receiving a scholarship or a fellowship. There may be an opportunity where those amounts are taxable to claim some moving expenses.
What if the newcomer is still settling down in Canada and have brought his whole family yet, but he still supports them? Can they deduct this amount on their tax return?
Well, that's not uncommon, is it? You know, someone comes ahead and moves to the country and their family's still in their country of origin. Unfortunately, amounts paid to support their family members are not deductible. There is, however, a credit for a spouse or partner and for any disabled dependents that they might be able to access.
In which circumstance will the CRA contact a person that is filing their taxes?
Well, I'm glad you've asked that question. CRA usually contacts individuals by letter or by phone, and we never send an email asking for information. So if one of your viewers receives an email asking for information, they should not respond, and they should report it either to the CRA or they can report it to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. The importance of this is there is a fair amount of fraud out there right now, and there are a number of individuals who are fishing for information, which can lead to identity theft or loss of financial information. So it's really important to know that if your viewers have any questions, they check with our General Inquiries line at 1-800-959-8281, and we will confirm whether or not the communication is accurate and whether they should respond.
Yeah, for sure, because when you're new in a country and is the government contact you, like people for sure will respond and give a lot of information.
So it's really important to be careful, and if you suspect any wrongdoing, double check with us before you press a button or return the call.
Do you have any closing comments for our viewers regarding their tax returns?
For sure. I'd like to remind them to make sure that their address, marital status, and direct banking information is up to date before they file. That will mean that they will avoid unnecessary delays. That they look into filing, registering for My Account, and that will give them information on their processing of their refund, their benefit and credit payments, and other tax information. So it's a really good resource. And lastly, that they file on time and they net file to get their refund as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Deborah, for being here and sharing all this information with us.
You're more than welcome, Nadia. Have a good day.